Hi. God damn it. Well, here we are. I hope you're happy. A few weeks ago, I posted on my community tab to see what type of videos people wanted to see me make. It was either a choice between a Shane Dawson book review or a review of High Guardian Spice. Guess which one won? Either way, I was gonna suffer. I was hoping to skip the bullet biting and just review Shane's feces dribbled book because it would have kept up with the theme of me reviewing shit books by YouTubers. But lo and behold, that didn't happen, and here I am, drinking my sorrows away. So before we get into the show, I want to address a few things that I have to say, or else people in the comment section and fucking idiots will point out regardless, but I mean, I just have to point them out. I am not going after this show because I'm an SJW or an anti-SJW. I could give less of a fuck about it. I'm going after this show because it's bad in multiple factors. Not because the main crew behind it is a crew of women or any of that bullshit. But that doesn't mean I won't be honest with this review. This entire video, if you couldn't tell, is my opinion and my opinion alone. No politics, no agenda, none of that bullshit. This show has a history of utilizing certain sexualities as more of a selling point rather than a character's understanding and progression on their behalf. And I'll address that with this review. The creators also have their fair share of problems that I don't know if I'll be touching upon in this video or if another one. I don't know. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get on with this trash fire. High Guardian Spice was first shown around late 2018 and released a short trailer for the show's production crew, Studio Elation. Studio Elation is owned by Crunchyroll and was a fairly new studio at the time. It was said to be Crunchyroll's first original anime, I guess? The director for the show is Ray Rodriguez, who has some controversial past that I'd rather not get into. But the main goal of the introduction trailer was to simply highlight the fact that the studio was primarily a studio consisting of women, which is pretty fucking cool. However, the trailer's reception was overwhelmingly negative due to a few factors. People subscribe to Crunchyroll to help Japanese studios produce their own anime and not have Crunchyroll buy an American studio to produce Crunchyroll originals. Look, I know there's a debate going around online that a show has to be produced in Japan to qualify as an anime, but I think that this is surely wrong because shows like Ruby and Avatar beg to differ. They capture the anime feeling with either their action sequences, stories, characters, or hell, even a combination of all that. They don't strive away from the anime style too far and try to bring a unique and interesting take to their respective media. And when people found out that this is what we got, well, they were very pissed. Understandably, this is a pretty good reason to be mad at Crunchyroll. Deceptive practices like advertising a different product while the consumer gets a lesser version of it will be unfortunately the norm of society nowadays. We live in a society, dude. Another factor was that it looked like woke trash to some of the majority of the comments on that trailer. In a way, I agree with this, to a sensible amount. With that said, I don't mean it in the sense that I'm the type of person who wants all the gays to be stoned in the middle of the fucking street for just being gay. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Have you seen my Twitter profile? I am probably the farthest away who wants that. What I mean by this is that I agree to a sense that it's trying too hard to inject gay into the show. When we get to the show review, a part of this video, you'll see what I mean. I think that marketing your character's sexuality instead of the characters themselves is a terrible idea. I don't want to be constantly reminded that, hey, look, this character's gay. Look, oh my god, this character's fucking gay. No, I don't want people to market their character just because their sexuality is in line with the norm nowadays. Don't market being gay or being bisexual or trans just because you'll net some good faith with the audience. Instead, market a good story with good characters that are worth watching and that are just worth being invested in. I've seen time and time again that companies would market sexuality and stick with it instead of giving the characters motives or even giving them relatability that isn't just one sentence long. Anyways, back to the trailer. It was overwhelmingly negatively received by everyone on the internet for good and for bad reasons. People would make videos left and right, and for a time it took over the internet for the wrong reasons. But after that initial month of the trailer release, High Guardian Spice would go into a dormant sleep for 2 years with no news about the project other than it being delayed, even to the point where the creators were just spitballing a date for it. It seemed like High Guardian Spice was in production limbo. That was until October 26th, 2021. On October 26th, High Guardian Spice was released for the world to watch. And usually a good show like Loki or fuck it, even What If would space out their episodes once a week. But with High Guardian Spice, it was all dumped onto the internet and onto Crunchyroll's website all on the same day. All 12 episodes, just ready to watch. To some, this would be good news, but not for this show. Oh no. Oh no. Also, all of the episodes have a mishmash of writers and directors for most of the series. It's not a consistent writer or director, which kind of irks me, but I'll let it pass. I'll let that nervous tick I have that I've conducted while watching this video, this fucking series, just let it pass. Now, granted, most of the reviews online are just review bombing homophobes. But truthfully, a lot, and I mean a lot, of people didn't like this show. It was bland, the animation was poorly done and has a lot of errors, and the characters and the story felt like it wasn't even going anywhere. Some outlets would praise the show for its diversity of LGBT representation and amazing writing. Guys, just because the show is gay, and just because the show has gay characters in it doesn't mean we can't honestly hate it and honestly review it. Like people who praise the show for its unique aesthetic or not being afraid to showcase queer identity have no idea what they're talking about. This show is bland and looks so fucking generic. And the LGBT representation shouldn't be a showcase, like it's a fucking animal at the zoo. It should be subtle and used in a smart way to strengthen the character's personality and make us relate to them more. An example of this is Caitlyn from Arcane. I have zero knowledge whatsoever of League of Legends, but when I watched this show with my wife, I started to like this character so fucking much because I knew something was up. I got a lesbian detector in my fucking brain, let me tell you what. But when that one scene came on where Vi would ask her, woman or man, and she would stutter, I knew then and there she was my girl. I knew something was up. It wasn't thrown into our faces like how High Guardian Spice does. Also, they use her sexuality to build up her relationship with Vi in a meaningful and caring way. She started off not caring about her, but the more the story progressed, the more closer these characters got. An amazingly subtle way to announce that your character swings for both teams. High Guardian Spice wishes it was a minute's worth as good as this fucking show. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this show. What is High Guardian Spice? High Guardian Spice is a coming-of-age story between the main characters Rosemary, Sage, Parsley, and Thyme. It's ironic that the show is called High Guardian Spice, and none of the main characters are named after spices, but herbs. This is what we're getting, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. It's a mix of a bunch of other different good shows like Little Witch Academia, Ruby, and a sprinkle of Avatar. Not much, but just enough to annoy you. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's get on with the actual review of this show. I'm sorry that this intro was very long, but I had to get it out. Before we get into the first episode, a bit of a little extra tidbit. I managed to watch this entire series for free online on Crunchyroll. I didn't have to go through a fucking website, a shady website that I may or may not use. It was just on Crunchyroll, officially. I didn't have to pay for a subscription or anything. Which is a bit of a bad sign, once you think about it. But the first episode starts off with our first two main characters known as Sage and Rosemary being excited to go to High Guardian Academy. This is where we start to encounter our first problem, and a very reoccurring problem, as I might add. The audio mixing is so terribly loud that I can barely hear this fucking guy talk.
All aboard is going to Lingard.
This isn't just a me thing, by the way. I didn't expect my hearing to go off. No, there's a lot of other YouTubers who have the exact same problem as I do. Another reoccurring problem is the animation. It's dreadfully mediocre. Usually in the first episode of an anime, they would pump all the money into the first episode because, I mean, that's the introduction episode, right? Everybody wants to know how good this show is. Let's pump money into it. This show doesn't do that. It suffers from the dreaded bean face that Steven Universe has. Now, I know what you're gonna say. No, shut the fuck up. I personally dislike this art style because it's super cheap looking and pretty generic. I know, considering I like anime, and a lot of anime just looks generic, but hear me out, right? But there was one show that did this style justice through its story and its characters, and that's She-Ra. I don't know if I can qualify this as a bean face show, but shut the fuck up and let me talk. I absolutely love She-Ra. The style is similar, but they do a good job with differentiating the character's design that I can see through silhouettes that this is Adora or this is Catra. By the way, I fucking love Catra. These characters are so different and well written compared to this dribble. Anyways, back to the show. After this, the characters would say goodbye to their parents and make their way to High Guardian Academy. After hopping from their carriage to a fancier carriage, to a skylift, followed by a train, only to use their magic flying broom to cut to the front of the fucking line of the train, then head to the back of the train. I'm not joking around. They actually could have saved us time of them hopping from train to train and instead just have them arrive to the city on their flying broom. It would have been so much more interesting. It's a waste of my time, and a show shouldn't waste my time. Also, Final Fantasy reference, ha ha ha. Anyways, they arrive at Sage's cousin's place and stay the night. Also, Sage's cousins are gay. Wow, whoa, who could have seen that coming? Notice how I said cousins. Plural, by the way. That's because there's a small line that Rosemary said that just irks me. It irks me again. The feeling's back.
Your cousins are the best. I know.
Because we can see them in a wedding outfit and getting uncomfortably too close for just being cousins. Listen, man, I know the LGBTQ is like super welcoming, but I will fucking shoot myself in the leg if we start accepting incest and pedophilia. I'll shoot myself in the fucking leg. Rosemary has a nightmare about her family, with her mom disappearing and leaving her sword behind. With this sequence, I have a few problems and several questions. Why is it such a generic and bland nightmare? Like the mom is being swept away by dark clouds who she handles effortlessly with her sword, but decides to not only throw her sword away, the only weapon that can deal damage to these clouds, but throws it at her own child who has no experience with the sword whatsoever. Like, I understand that she threw the handle part towards her, but if the sword turns around last minute and impales Rosemary, what are you gonna do about it, huh? Ever think about that, huh? Mom of the Year! Don't even get me started on Rosemary's dumb, stupid face when she gets the sword. This emotion right here made me want to head down to my local YMCA and have my gay card revoked. Just take it. Take my bisexual card. Go. Take it. I had to watch High Guardian Spice. Please take my bi card. After this, Rosemary's mom just accepts her death in such a boring and uninteresting way. Like, we get no build up to this character or any motivation whatsoever for her sacrificing herself. Also, Rosemary leaves the sword in the ground behind her, and then the sword magically appears in front of her again after the mom got swept up back to straight people hell. I don't know. I'm speechless. After this, Sage offers Rosemary a spot on her bed, and I thought this was pretty kind and kind of cute, you know? Doesn't help that the following scene involves an animation error where Rosemary just stuffs her face with infinite cookies. I understand that animating is difficult, but double checking your work isn't. Another animation error, or well, not really animation, more so Photoshop, I guess. The fucking sugar container and the fucking bread Sage is eating looks so out of place and bad. I can't even with this garbage. They explore around Lingarth, and she gets her necklace stolen by a Trixie. She doesn't even feel the thing yanking at her pendant so hard that it breaks the chain. I understand that pickpocketing is a thing, but this Trixie yanks it with the might of Zeus. Moments later, she realized that her pendant is gone. Now, at first, I thought this conflict would be pretty important because the locket might contain a picture of her mom and stuff, but nope! She keeps a picture of her favorite cheesecake in it, not her actual mother who fucking died. She clearly has a picture of her, but instead opts to pick the fucking disgusting cum-drizzled cheesecake instead of her own mother. Fucking end me. Anyways, they find the Trixie and it does this weird circling thing for about 2 minutes. I wish I was hyperballing this. After this whole ordeal with the Trixie then transforms into a, I don't know, a bat, I guess? And fucks. I'm not joking. That actually happens. The Trixies fuck, the pendant breaks, and Rosemary is sad. But because the pendant is broken, they make their way to the blacksmith, and this is where we meet our third main character, Parsley. Hi there, post-recording Noble. I say third because I forgot midway through writing and recording this video that we actually met another main character named Time, and I completely forgot she existed because she's barely a minute into the first episode. I completely forgot about that, so I'm sorry, I guess. Then we meet all of Parsley's siblings, you know, because dwarfs apparently fuck like rabbits. All of these stupid fucking little kids are dangling off ropes, playing with sharp objects, and one even tried to jump into a fire pit. I mean, I don't blame them. I would have too if I was isekai'd into this fucking world. They leave, bump into No Face Nobody, and goes on their merry way. Rage? Rosemary and Sage describe to Aloe and Anise what happened that day. And that is episode 1. It wasn't bad, but it certainly wasn't good. When I watched this show, I felt like I wasted a lot of time. This episode could have been so much shorter and had more impact on the other main characters instead of putzing around all the other useless and superfluous shit. Like, I didn't really need a full 5 minutes of squirrel fucking. I am just saying. Side note, another thing that I noticed while watching this is a majority of the comments were either disabled or deleted on Crunchyroll's site, which definitely bodes well for the series. The first episode does a horrible job at both world building and plot progression. In episode 1 of Ruby, we managed to not only get the world building within the first minute, but we also met all the major characters in just the first episode. A 12-minute episode, by the way. It did more in those 12 minutes than High Guardian Spice did for its whole season. High Guardian Spice is a very mediocre show. I only went 1 episode deep in this review, but the story and the characters do not get any better. There are a handful of characters that are sort of redeemable, but not by much. You gotta lower your standards really low for those characters. But that's it for this video. High Guardian Spice, for me, was a very very shallow and bland, an overall predictable story with uninteresting characters and animation that could have fooled me as a 14-year-old's passion project. I'll make more videos about the next episode, but for now, my brain needs rest. Or else it'll fucking kamikaze itself. If you liked the video, please leave a like and comment on the video what you thought about the first episode, and also, I don't know, leave a like. I don't really know what to do next. My brain is just fucked after watching this show. But that's gonna be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. I gotta go drink my sorrows away after watching this show. Bye.